Welcome to another episode of the Healthcare Executives video series. I'm your host, Kieran Warren, and today I'm speaking with Jeffrey Stevens, who is the Chief Human Resources Officer at Jefferson Health. Jeffrey, thank you so much for speaking with us today.
It's my pleasure.
Let's begin with you sharing your career journey to your current executive position at Jefferson Health. How did it all begin?
So I am originally from Brooklyn, New York, and I went away to college. I received my undergraduate degree in economics. I returned to New York City and had several positions in finance and Wall Street type work, which was terrific to learn finance and economics. But then I had to choose a path, and I decided I was going to focus on a career in human resources. I actually went back to get my master's degree in HR. And subsequent to that, following that, I took a series of positions, first at the National Labor Relations Board, all about labor relations in the government, and then I stepped through a number of different jobs, ultimately into academic medicine. This is at Jefferson here, where I've been for about a year. This is my third large academic medical center that I'm the head of human resources for.
Great. So can you share with us some of your major responsibilities in this role?
Yes, so as the head of human resources, I have responsibility for all of the activities that support our employees, our people, which include staffing or recruitment, how people get brought into the organization, the work of benefits, our insurance programs, our leave programs, people who take vacation and such. There's programs in compensation, how we pay people throughout this big organization. There's the functions of employee relations, which is dealing with employee matters that present in the environment. There's training and development. I have responsibility for all of those functions. I manage a staff of close to 150 people who have specialized expertise in all of those matters.
And in this position, what are some of your major challenges managing HR operations in the country's leading and largest healthcare systems?
So healthcare is changing very rapidly, and it's expanding. When I took my job a year ago, we were a $1.2 billion organization comprised of just several hospitals. In a year and over the next 6 months, we will become a $5 billion organization. We'll have 11 hospitals, 2 universities, 8 colleges, and on and on. This is a growing organization, and it's part of generally the regionalization of healthcare. This is happening in a lot of markets as healthcare organizations expand and grow. For me, the challenge is trying to divide my time between the strategy across this organization and operating at an executive level with all of my peers, the head of finance, the head of integration, the head of marketing. There are large functional areas that need my attention as a strategist, working my department because I manage a staff of, as I said, 150 people who need direction and support. And then for me personally, wanting to make connections with employees. We will have 30,000 employees. And as I've grown up in healthcare, I've found energy in meeting with employees at all levels of the organization and trying to connect with them. So just that balance is just not enough time in the day.
What is the best part of your job?
This HR human resources can be a very issues-driven type work. We hear a lot of complaints. Things don't always go well for employees, and so people will call me. They didn't get a job, they got passed over, there's been conflict, they are disagreeing with their manager. These types of things present all the time, and you can get lost in the issues. For me, you have to really value those experiences and those interactions that are super positive. The person who does get the promotion, who reaches out to say thank you, someone who has a new baby and is covered by our insurance. There are just highlights in my day and my work that you have to really understand the role of caring for people. Even though we're very large, you have to individualize it and really understand we're taking care of people's lives.
This interview will be viewed by healthcare administration students throughout the region. what advice can you give students who are seeking a career in hospital HR management?
So there are many different tracks to imagine, whether it's in hospital administration or HR administration. Again, there's the work of in HR, the work of benefits and compensation, employee relations, labor relations, dealing with unions, learning and development. There are big systems that HR owns and manages. So I would say for a person to discover their specific interest and their specific strengths and build competency in that area, and then work beyond that to just broaden themselves. You know, what attracted me to HR was the ability to do a little bit of everything. I didn't want a job where, routinely I was doing the same thing over and over or just engaged in the same function. HR afforded me really a diverse portfolio of activity and responsibilities.
Now, I'm sure you would say that internships and networking are important to get a start in any profession. What advice can you give current students who are seeking to find internships and opportunities that would allow them to meet senior level executives? How would they connect with those opportunities?
That's a really good question. The first thing I would say is don't be discouraged. You apply for a job, you reach out and network with someone who you think it's important to meet with. That person has 1,000 things on their plate, and sometimes it's things get lost, resumes get put to a pile. So I would say a certain level of perseverance, a certain level of kind of pushing yourself in to make that initial introduction is very important. Sometimes people get very discouraged and they tell themselves a story and find themselves not involved. I would say the other thing is for each individual to really discover what are their strengths, what is your strength, and really capitalize on that. We're all people and individuals, and to know what you bring to the table. There's a lot of people who come with a lot of good expertise. At the end of the day, it's the work of relationships. How do you connect with people? I'm a big student and a big proponent of the work of emotional intelligence for people to understand what vibes do you give off? What's your level of self-awareness, and how do people want to work with you, or do they? And I see this both with people who apply for positions, but just generally in the work environment. The question always presents, do people want to work with you? And I think to understand that about yourself and how you present and how you promote your strengths, that's all part of it.
Thank you for taking time out of your day to speak with us here at the Healthcare Executive Video Series. And thank you for watching.